Alright. Okay. So I'll just count you down. Excuse me. Count you down whenever. I am also going to have my timer running just because, well, obviously I'm not going to have it on the stream, but I'm going to run it for my purposes. Actually, let me first remove my split sounds. They're already muted on the stream, but I don't want to hear them. Okay, cool. Alright. So yeah, timing is going to start when I hit start. Don't get much easier than that, right? I'll count it down now. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, well, hope you guys like cutscenes, by the way. Yeah, the infamous SMS cutscenes. So, what to talk about first? Well, you got airstrip, right? So we gotta do airstrip, but got a couple cutscenes to start. Basically, you got this opening cutscene. Then you do airstrip. Well, no, then you get flood. Then you get the flood cutscene. Then you do airstrip. Then you get the courtroom cutscene. And then you start the game. So we'll do that first. But yeah, this is it's pretty exciting for me to do. I have been running Sunshine too long, so I'm pretty excited to do it in a marathon for the first time. Like, I've done other stuff in marathons, but not this game, so this is a new experience for me. So yeah, not much at this time. We just gotta bop over to flood. The toad helps us out a little bit. Or actually, no. He doesn't help us. We gotta go over Toad. You don't want to bump Toad. Because you want to land just in front of that goop and then dive over. Mario thick, by the way. Subject identified as a chonker. It's just like through that flood lens, he's just like extra chonk. For some reason. I am completely with you, Fino, but I am not going to talk about that. This is not not the time for it.
If you press the R button all the way down, you can stop and shoot. You can then use the control stick to aim in any direction. Press the X button to switch to the hover nozzle. You can then press the R button to hover in the air for a short time.
There's really not, there's not much to talk about during cutscenes, of course, but
to refill tank, enter a body of water and press the
I guess once we get in courtroom cutscene, I'll think of something to talk about. But yeah, that's flood cutscene. Now we get to do the strip. So I'm gonna actually try to spray this polluted piranha from here, just to save the time of going over there. And then once you've sprayed enough, you can just kind of jump over. It's enough water hits. Yeah, so that's something to talk about, actually. You're going to see a lot of this in this run. This is called the spam spray. That's something to talk about. You will see a lot of spam spray. So essentially, there's a mechanic where if you do a backflip, like you can do a backflip while you're spraying, and when you do that, you get a similar effect to that, where like water's flying everywhere. Well, you can do that with the same inputs, being RNA, while you're in the air, and essentially you get that spray, that same kind of spray, except you're in the air, so you can't backflip because you're not grounded. So you can abuse the crap out of that to get a lot of spray. Shotgun blast spray. So that is very useful. We'll be using it for a lot of stuff.
Court is now in session.
As you are no doubt aware,
Someone has been senselessly defacing Fair Isle Delfino.
But yeah, this is the longest of the 3 cutscenes. I'm trying to think of like, okay, while we gotta sit here for a few minutes, I'm trying to think like, what can we discuss before getting into it? What can I explain?
Our poor residents tremble beneath a veil of darkness. Expert Shine scholars have determined that this darkness has arisen because all of our guardians, the Shine Sprites, have vanished from their gathering spot at the Shine.
Not much, really. I mean, the start of this game is pretty slow, but it gets speedy pretty quick. Also, pretty much once you get through the very first shine that you do off of the airstrip, then the game starts moving pretty quick. It's a pleasure to play because it's a very fast-paced speed game, but you also get a decent break in between shines because you have to re-enter the world every time, you know. So it's nice. The pacing of this run is very pleasant.
Mario shall not be allowed to leave. Court adjourned.
Trying to think if I know of any partial game categories.
Data analysis verifies that the island's inhabitants are
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's like some category extensions.
The pollution itself
or
is
stuff.
not the main problem. Mario, you witnessed this object at the airstrip, correct? It is a Shine Sprite. Shine
I don't know,
Sprites
I can't think of any.
power on Isle Delfino. They used to gather in great numbers at the Shine.
Okay, that makes sense. The acts, yeah.
Incident has polluted the island, and most of the Shine Sprites have fled. There is no.
Oh, some people do,
power
Fino.
to support the peaceful lifestyle of the islanders. It is most pitiable. The
Some people
only way
definitely
to
do.
ensure the return of the Shine Sprites is
I would do that, but like,
from the
they're not. The intro's not that bad, truly.
The perpetrator is
It's like it would be nice to not have it, but it's truly not that bad.
and you, Mario, are being
Like my strat is, I actually have a second setup in my room with another sunshine disc, and I'll just practice on that during cutscenes. It's pretty good.
Your first job is to get rid of all that ugliness. And remember, we'll be watching you, pal. We'll know it.
Yes, definitely true. Definitely true. It is different. But yeah, now we are in the game. We are in Delfino Plaza. First thing we gotta do, like the man said, we gotta clean up all that ugliness. You can't miss the mess, pal. So you come on over here, deal with another polluted piranha. There's a couple of these boys. Gotta deal with a lot of these boys at the start of the game. And then you got one more cutscene. This one's short though. So we're gonna enter Bianco Hills. It's the area that just came out of the ground.
Princess, look! On the statue's head!
So interesting thing in Bianco, right off the start, there is actually a developer-intended shine skip. You get to skip the very first episode in the game, because basically, when you go into Bianco Episode 1, essentially, the objective of Bianco 2 is actually available to you. But before that, we're gonna take care of Shadow Mario real quick. So, we'll be taking out Shadow Mario pretty quick, as you can see. It's a lot of Shadow Mario fights. It's kind of funny, like, everyone remembers casually, I know I do, Shadow Mario being such a pain to take out, but really what it is as long as you are spaced correctly, to where, like, your spray is right on him, and you're not too close, it actually takes him down very quick. And right there I actually did a nice little trick called Early M, where I sprayed some water onto the M before triggering that cutscene, and I did it at the right time, so the M opened up. That's kind of tricky to do. It's a nice little time save. So, it's cool that I got to show that. So yeah, like I said, even though we're in... Oop, I missed the triple jump. So, gotta go up this way now. I was supposed to get a triple jump, hit the A button too early. That's one brutal thing in this game. Sometimes you just lose a bunch of time for hitting a button a little too early, Or a little too late. So yeah, we got this spider, right? And he's bouncy. So we use him to get right up here. Oh no. Okay, if I hurry, I can still get this part of the windmill. Okay. Yeah, you want to kick right up that windmill rather than riding it up. I got there pretty late, but I was still early enough to catch that part of the windmill. So that's nice. But yeah, Petey's just chilling here. He's the objective of Bianco 2, and he's just sitting here during episode 1. So you don't have to get the Bianco 1 shine at all. Just go right to this guy. There are some other shines that we get to skip too, but this is the only one that you're supposed to be able to skip. So, like I was talking about the spam sprays before, this is where you really start to see them come into play. We just go to the side of Petey here to bait him to turn and open his mouth, and just spam spray a bunch. He fills up real quick. Yeah, if I were to stand in front of him, he would actually try to hit me, but standing on the side, he just turns and opens up. Side flips, by the way, side flips are a really good mechanic. just so you know. They're really good. You might have saw there, I just kind of awkwardly jumped twice. That was me missing side flips. Side flip inputs are pretty jank. And as you can see there, I simply, I set myself up to where the shine was going to spawn. That's, one thing you have to do in this game is memorize, and it's not too hard actually. You have to memorize some locations for where shines spawn. And you can set yourself up to where you just instantly collect it after a cutscene. Yeah, moving into Bianco 3, we get, right out of the gate, we get the first secret in the game. Definitely, secrets are one of the most memorable things about Sunshine, for sure. This one's pretty easy. One thing I haven't mentioned also, water sliding, real fast, you might have noticed. By far the quickest movement method in the game. And yeah, using that pole there to wall kick off of and get up here a little quicker, right into this cave. And this is, like I said, this shine right here is not too bad. Essentially, as long as you know the positioning of those orange blocks I went over, then you're gonna land in the same spot every time. And you're just set to keep doing jump dives to the end. Okay, so now we are gonna, you just noticed we unlocked another thing there. So instead of re-entering Bianco, we're gonna go unlock that. And we're actually going to do a glitch called Travel Skip. And essentially, once I unlock this, I'll be standing in front of the area, which is Rico Harbor, normally. However, if I'm quick enough, I can go back and enter Bianco again during the cutscene. And that way I'm not going to be in front of this. I'm just going to be able to enter Bianco again. So I have to get as far back as I can to spray him from here, and then immediately water slide over to Bianco when I spray the third time. And it looks like it should be good enough. Yep. It's pretty tight. It's not super strict, but you definitely need a good water slide. And then the camera freaks out a little bit, because it's like, whoa, you're not supposed to do that. But yeah, called Travel Skip because you save the time of having to come back over here after the cutscene. So that's nice. That's like a 10-second time save if you get it. Now we got the first red coin shine. No! Okay. Accidentally messed up my dive angle there. Not a big deal. Oh, here we're gonna do... actually, we're not gonna do. I was too high, so I had to fall to get that coin. There was a cool trick I was gonna do otherwise, but you will definitely see. Oh, the wind's gonna get me. That was a little soft. That's okay though. But yeah, you will see that trick in a later point. Probably gonna get hit by this red doohickey. That thing is tricky. It's like, if you get on that rope at certain times, it's pretty hard to avoid it. So yeah, kind of a sloppy shine, but not the worst. Now we're gonna revisit Petey one more time. He's come back. And he's a big problem. This Petey fight, unfortunately, is quite random. And for higher level runners of this game, he is definitely a big problem. He's definitely a common reset point. So that's another tech there that gets used a lot. Turning with the camera during a jump. You can kind of weasel your way into some positions that you really shouldn't be able to. But, you know, you can just adjust your angle with the camera so we can get it. So I was able to get up onto that rope. I'll definitely see a good bit of that. So yeah, we woke Petey up. He was sleeping. He threw up all over the place and then he went to sleep. We woke him up. Now we gotta wait for him to come down. Not joking, by the way. He has essentially a throw-up attack. So yeah, all of this is from him just chucking. But yeah, pretty much as far as fighting him, same deal as in Bianca 2. Except the random part is he has like a bunch of different locations where he can stop. I can't knock him out of the air until he stops. So there's a lot of different potential patterns that he can do, essentially. Ooh, okay. A lot of things flying around there. Worked out though. Yeah, I think there's something crazy like, I think there's like about 1,000 potential patterns. It's pretty insane. And it's like most of them don't vary too much, but there are definitely some that are like absurdly slow. And there are some that are absurdly fast. This one I would say was about average. Nothing too crazy. And that's it. That's it for Peter. Now, we're actually not going to re-enter Bianco again after this shine. We will be heading to do another unlock. So, we will be doing the rest of Bianco later in the run. So essentially the reason that we would want to do that is, well, I'll show you in a minute here. So when it shows us this unlock, which is going to be Gelato Beach this time, it shows us this little cutscene of like, oh hey, look, you can do a thing. And, you know, that cutscene doesn't play, normally, unless there is a thing. So, essentially, if we were to collect those other 2 shines that we have to do in Bianco, before this, we would be watching that cutscene an extra 2 times. So we just come back to Bianco later. And that saves around 6 seconds in terms of the route. And it works out very nicely, actually. It's very convenient to go back to it at a later point in the run. I'm going to try to do a little small time-saving trick here. If I do a water slide at the right time... Okay, I didn't get it. You can slide during the cutscene here a little bit. Very minor. Just gets you a little closer to entering this in. But yeah, now we are going to do the infamous Gelato Beach skip. So, what you can do is, on episode 1, you can actually collect the episode 8 shine, which is the final shine, because it is loaded. And there is a way to clip into the location it's at. It's in a location at of course, you're not supposed to be able to access. But with the magic power of a coconut, we can make dreams come true. So it's in this hut, right? It's in the glass in that hut. So I'm going to clip into this hut. I've got my camera set up in a particular way, and I have to keep it that way for this coconut to clip me in. I did not hold forward enough to re-grab that coconut. It's kind of tricky. You really have to be careful with your hover timing. But yeah, if you basically clip into that hut and hover correctly, you will stay inside the inside of that hut, basically. And if you hit it just right, you can drop into that glass. So because we've collected the episode 8 shine in episode 1, now it thinks, okay, you just completed the last shine of the world. That means you've done everything. So now it allows us to access every episode. And we can just go into episode 7, which I haven't mentioned yet. Essentially, the win condition in Sunshine is you have to beat Shadow Mario in every world. And he's always in episode 7. So Gelato Beach Skip essentially allows us to collect only 2 shines to complete Gelato Beach when we should have to collect 7. And once again, destroying Shadow Mario very quickly. There's pretty much a way to kill every one of them pretty quickly. That one, we just get set up right to where his run path is going to be and just nail him with those spam sprays. Very effective. But yeah, that is it for Gelato. Now I'm going to enter Pianta Village. Oh. Or not. Oh shoot, okay, window. Hello. Let's try that again, shall we? By the way, yeah, I didn't mention those yet. That was a momentum spin jump, but this is early Pianta. We use another one of those camera turns I mentioned earlier to be able to wall kick off this. And you are really not supposed to be able to get into Pianta Village yet. You're supposed to have the rocket nozzle for it. But with that camera turn, it's pretty simple to just get right in here. Yeah, I will explain momentum spin jumps more later. Keep forgetting to do that. Yeah, Pianta Village is pretty cool. It's one of my personal favorite worlds. First episode, I gotta... These chomps are angry, so I gotta put them in some water to calm them down. Got a little bit of unfavorable RNG there, but not too bad. Oh, messed that up a little bit. These guys kind of turn in a different position depending on the way you spray them. So yeah, this is a little jank at the moment, but not the worst. Definitely the bad RNG on the first one kind of threw me off a little. I could have reacted to it better than that, but it was not too bad. Then the next shine we've got essentially, not an auto-scroller is not the right word for it, but essentially an auto-scroller. There's this guy, Carpenter, and he thinks he's a cool kid. He thinks he knows how to go fast, and we're gonna expose him, because he's fraudulent. So, essentially, once you meet him, after getting off this bridge, that's basically the shine's over. Because now we're just gonna... He's gonna want to race us, right? He thinks he's a fast guy. Thinks he's a speedy kid. 30 seconds is his personal best. I wonder how fast we can do it with our slick water slide maneuver. So, this is momentum, by the way. Like, this is my normal running speed compared to what you just saw. So when you run up slopes, you get a bunch of momentum, and that is useful for the momentum spin jumps I mentioned earlier, which I will explain whenever I do one again. But yeah, we just had to wait on him to get up here, essentially. So as soon as you meet him after getting off the bridge, that's pretty much the whole shine. Just gotta wait on him to get up here for him to give us the shine. Also, fun fact, he is actually supposed to be the Running Man from Majora's Mask. If you know who that is. The Running Man in disguise. The guy you race in Majora's Mask. Alright, this is a cool shine. We're gonna do some invincibility frame shenanigans here. So for this shine, everything's covered in fire goop, and you're supposed to have to go under the world. However, I can make it across said fire goop using invincibility frames by being hit by this wind. And when you are hit, you flash red, and you have invincibility frames during that time. So, using that, I had enough time to make it over to that rail, and just use that stuff that's there to make my way to where Flood is. Which, yeah, to get to that point, you're supposed to do a whole bunch of stuff underneath Pianta Village. But with those invincibility frames, very short shine. Snatch Flood up and save the mayor. No problem. Definitely one of my favorite shines. Very fast, very satisfying. Now we got another chomp to deal with. This is a big chomp. Big boy chomp. So interesting thing about this here chomp is that you can kind of manipulate what he does by getting in front of him. Well, first of all, if we hold on to him, he'll just move forward. And we can move pretty fast that way, because he moves pretty fast. But what I'm going to do is let go at a certain point, right about here. And then I got to hurry up and get in front of him. And unfortunately, he actually gave me... Yeah, okay. Not going to be able to get in front of him. Got to clean him off real quick. Oh, I'm getting blasted. Okay. Then we got to drag him here. If I had got in front of him, I essentially would have tricked him into walking in here on his own. And then I can clean him off while he's next to the pool. And if you do that and grab the chain immediately, we get something we call chain skip, which is he basically just falls into the pool as soon as you grab and release the chain. But I got a bad RNG pattern there, and basically what that meant is it's kind of tricky to get in front of him without getting burnt like that with that pattern. It's also, unfortunately, the slowest pattern, even besides the fact that it's a little harder. Yeah, it's interesting. Essentially, there's points where you can turn either way, and by getting in front of him, you force him to go a certain way. Now, this is even more interesting. Related to the fact that we are not supposed to be in Pianta Village yet, we're actually supposed to have Yoshi to do this shine. But we're doing Yoshi skip. So, Yoshi, you normally need Yoshi to clean this goop. However, we can... Oh, okay. Hold, hold on. We can clip into this. Like so. By hovering back into it. That is Yoshi skip. Because we don't have Yoshi. Yoshi is not unlocked. Because we are not supposed to be in Pianta Village yet. So, it's kind of interesting. Early Pianta really only works out because of that glitch, essentially. Now, these boys are just chilling. We got the good old Chucksters, the infamous Chucksters. They're a little bit random. They have different cycles where they just can stand in certain spots for however long they please. So those guys were just chilling. I could get thrown by that guy or do one of these. We're gonna do one of these. Stop him? Okay. It was just in time. Related to the fact that they can stop in spots, if you bounce on them, it kind of resets their timer and makes them much less likely to stop in spots, and if they do, probably they're not going to stop there as long as they might have if you didn't bounce. So if you bounce on them in certain spots, it's very beneficial. And also with that one, I actually... he should have thrown me the other way with that one. We actually just mashed the camera button while talking to him, and by mashing camera, he throws you the opposite direction. So that's very convenient for that particular Chuck. Next shine, This is a good shine. I think this is probably a favorite shine of many runners of this game. It's very high octane. So the fire goop's back. 10 Piantas are trapped in it. We gotta save them. And it's pretty cool. Essentially, you gotta get them up out of the goop and then clean them. So when you get them up out of the goop, you can't clean them right away. There's a time period. So I need to try to spray these guys up out of the goop in advance while I'm cleaning other guys. That one I missed, so we're good now. So yeah, you have to try to like play ahead here, you know? So like I'm unlocking 2 of them, and then I go to clean this one. That's now ready to be cleaned. And then by the time I get over here, she's ready to be cleaned. So you just have to keep working ahead and trying to unlock these guys before you get to them. Just by setting up your spray at the right angles. I think I got him. Yep. Very nice. So this one's going pretty good. And you can see if I'm getting them unlocked effectively, I can just keep cleaning them. I don't have to stop and wait. So that was pretty decent. That one was about average for me. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's a really, really fun shine. Very high octane. There's definitely better strats you can use than what I did even. You can do some pretty crazy movement. It's a very popular IL, that shine. And we just got one more shine in Pianta Village. And then we'll go over to what that's been showing us for the past few episodes. Which is plot that we're actually going to skip the cutscene of. Using a trick. But first, Shadow Mario. Plot in a Mario game. We'll skip it. A little bit slow on this Shadow Mario. Yeah, he's kind of getting away a little. I messed up my movement a little bit on the bridge coming over, so I wasn't really ready to start spraying him at the soonest time. But he didn't escape too far, so that's not a big deal. Alright, so, yeah. Essentially, there was this cutscene that's like, it's going to play and then we'll have access to another area. But what we're going to do is called Honey Skip, named after Mario 64 player, goes by Honey. Found it many moons ago. So, first of all, we're able to clip out of bounds into this building. That's what we need to do first. No, okay. I ground pounded a little early. Because I need to get into that other building, and that's where we're going to do the glitch. But essentially, what this is you get killed when you're out of bounds. The game kills you, right? After a certain amount of time of being out of bounds. However, the area I'm in currently is not quite considered out of bounds. So I'm doing a setup to where I'm going to die out of bounds at a very specific point. Because of the setup I did, if I did it correctly, which I'm pretty sure I did, we have skipped the cutscene and can freely enter Pinna Park. The reason for that is Mario died on the same frame that the cutscene played. So, yeah, with that correct setup, we can ensure that those things will happen on the same frame every time if the setup is done correctly. And it took me 2 tries there, of course, but if you were to do it first try, that saves around 15 seconds to not watch that cutscene. And here's more plot that we get to skip. If I exit area while I'm entering the trigger for this cutscene, that gets skipped as well. And thank God for that, because that cutscene's about 4 minutes long. Or actually, not that one. That one I think is about 1 minute long. There's another one at the end of this fight that's like 4 minutes long. We can skip that one as well, using the same method, fortunately. So we gotta fight Mecha Bowser. little nutty out of context of the cutscene. But essentially, I want to shoot these rockets at him. Oh, I missed picking that rocket up. That's alright though. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. You can pick the rockets up early by spraying them. But yeah, I'm just looking for certain visual cues to shoot the rockets, and if I do those correctly, they should hit him. And all of them did hit, but I missed picking up one of the rockets. So now I have to wait to get this one. It's a pretty punishing fight, actually. Like, every rocket you miss essentially loses you 10 seconds. Versus if you don't miss any rockets. That's a thing with Sunshine, actually. Like, a huge part of what makes this game a very challenging speed game to get good times in is it's a very punishing game. Very, very punishing game. Like, there's a lot of mistakes. Very small, like, mistakes like that just instant lose 10 seconds. I mean, there's even, there's stuff where, oh, you made, this little input error. You're gonna lose like 20-30 seconds. It's pretty crazy. There'll be a great example of that coming up in the next 2 shines after this one, actually, which hopefully we will not witness. But yeah, here we get to do another little skip. So there's this mole guy shooting stuff at us. And we're supposed to fight him, but why? When you can just kind of yeet in there. So yeah, when you get close enough to him, he freaks out and he closes the top, right? But there is enough time to just dive right in there, and that's the entry to this secret. And this secret's pretty simple, because you just have to wait for these blocks, essentially. And just a bunch of jump dives to the end, or dive rollouts, rather. Yeah, it's pretty nice. The fact that the loading zone is there really saves you a lot of time having to do that fight. So another high octane shine coming up here, another red coin shine. On this one, I'm going to be trying to do some trickery, where there's going to be these 2 pirate boats, right? Because there's like a bunch of amusement rides, because it's a park. I'm going to try to do some trickery with the boats to be able to collect these faster than I would be able to otherwise. So I grab this one, turn around, dive onto the boat, roll out, and I'm able to hover. And then I can land on this one and handily snatch up that coin there, which is kind of annoying to get if you don't get it in that fashion. So that boat hop is pretty helpful. Definitely a nice time saver. Then I come onto this thing, grab 1 coin under here, and then up to the last one. And I take advantage of that upward slope momentum by diving and rolling out into it. All, while dodging the electric Koopas. That one was very clean. That was a very good pin of 3. If I was slower, I would have had to wait on one of the electric Koopas, but that was a good one. So I mentioned earlier about unlocking Yoshi and how we skipped Yoshi for the secret in Pianta Village. This is the shine where you unlock Yoshi. So if that Yoshi skip wasn't possible, like we would probably have to do, like maybe we would still enter Pianta early, but we would have to come here to unlock Yoshi at some point. So this is an interesting fight. So we got all these sleepy boys. And I'm going to try to take them all out in 1 cycle. Gotta wake them up with the spam sprays, and then I'm going to try to set them all up, bait them to attack. One of them didn't wake up, plus this guy hit me. So this is going to be messy now, actually. I kind of have to improv this. And I'm definitely not getting it 1 cycle. But, oh, he didn't go in the ground. That's unfortunate. Here. That's kind of sloppy. But, there's 3 guys left. That's not ideal. Usually if you're going to do a 2 cycle, you want to hope that there's at least only 2 guys left. But they're all pretty close together, so it's going to work out good. Yeah, so that's actually a good 2-cycle right there. Yeah, it's very crucial that they all wake up. If you want to get the 1 cycle, they all have to wake up, but I didn't spray that one quite enough. It was a good backup, though. Definitely, I reacted well to the situation. And yeah, the one hit me also. Like, they won't jump into the sand if they hit you. So, that was good, though. But yeah, essentially, if you wake them all up correctly and you just bait them to ground pound certain spots, then it's not too bad to get the 1 cycle. But yeah, it's easier said than done as far as actually getting the sprays to work, because even if you spray well, there's unfortunately a little bit of randomness to the spam sprays, so sometimes, you know, it just doesn't work out. In that case, I can't say if it was me, but my fault or not, but enough about that. We're going to skip a shine now. So this is episode 5, but we're going to do episode 6 in it. So we're going to get Yoshi, now that he's unlocked. Going to snatch up a Yoshi. Got to get the fruit he wants. Trying to get that banana. Set my guy up with the banana. Okay, so I need several things for this glitch. I need a papaya. If I can find it. There it is. I need a durian to make myself purple Yoshi. And then I'm going to do a trick called fruit storage, which is where I ate that fruit, but I dismounted Yoshi before I actually ate it. And actually, this is not possible in the Japanese version of the game. Japanese is still faster than the version I'm playing for other reasons, but this is a nice thing you can do on NTSC. Okay, so I have to spray this guy to turn him into a platform, and I can use him to clip into the park, which is loaded, without actually entering the park. And now, I spray this guy to turn him into a platform, and the feature of the purple platforms is that they move. And now, I can eat that orange fruit. So the park's loaded, right? Okay, so this merry-go-round is here. This is called Early Yoshi Go-Round, alright? So it's loaded, even though it's supposed to be what you do in the next episode. And you need the orange Yoshi to enter it, so there's a lot of puzzle pieces that come together to make that glitch possible, but that is Early Yoshi Go-Round. And we have to do this secret jump over the wall here, just by hitting those blocks in the right spot. It's a pretty flashy shine, or secret rather. Definitely one of my favorites. Also, interesting thing there, I actually wanted to grab the ledge of that platform intentionally. When you ledge grab a platform like that, that only starts moving once you're on it. If you ledge grab it, it actually starts moving immediately. Whereas if you land on it without a ledge grab, it takes a little bit to start up. But yeah, that's a really cool glitch, in my opinion. And there's other ways of doing it as well. You can actually do... I did that in episode 5, but you can actually do that same glitch in episode 3, where the stews, the creatures that I used as my puppets to make that glitch possible, in episode 3 they are smaller and faster, so essentially you can do the same glitch, but 15 seconds faster using that method. Also, the reason I needed the one to ride on, I didn't mention. The reason I needed the one to ride on, the purple platform, is because although the park is loaded, when I clip out of bounds there, I'm not able to go past the staircase where you start at. So I need, by getting on that platform, I'm able to do that. And then I can clip into the Yoshi Go-Round area. But yeah. Also Shadow Mario. Figured I didn't need to explain that one, because they're all relatively the same. Just pump them with spam sprays. Usually. But yeah, that's it for Pinna. We're going to move on to Rico Harbor. Which we unlocked much earlier. This is where we did the travel skip earlier in the run. And this is also close to where I'm going to finish up in Bianco Hills. Once I finish here in Rico, then I go back to Bianco Hills to finish up the last 2 shines I need there. So for the first shine in Rico, we gotta fight a big Gooper Booper. Okay, yeah, so I still haven't explained momentum spin jumps. I just did one there. Basically the momentum I explained that you get from running up a hill. If you do the input for a spin jump out of that, then you get a spin jump that maintains the momentum you had from running up the hill. So it moves you way further forward than a normal spin jump would. We're going to see a really good application for that when I get back to Bianco, actually. So these bloopers, I'm supposed to have to rip off all the tentacles, but if you grab him, once he slams down his tentacles, then he doesn't attack you with them. Like, if you were to grab it at a time other than that, then he would attack you while you're trying to pull his nose. But by grabbing him at the right time, you don't even have to deal with those tentacles. Just clean him off, get the nose, that's it. 2 quick ones and he's gone. Pretty cool shine, this next one. Basically we're going to enter into an area where we're going to ride a blooper. And it's like a challenge thing. The guy's like, oh, you know, race through this course in X amount of time and I'll give you a shine. Pretty much, but we're not going to ride the blooper for it. That's the interesting thing. And for that matter, we're supposed to ride a blooper to get to that area as well. And we're not going to ride a blooper for that either. There's another way of getting in there that is a bit faster. We're going to take a trip through the sewers. Basically, I'm going to dive bomb the area we need to get into. And use a camera turn. And hover right in there. Also going to use a cool trick here. So like I said, I'm not going to ride the blooper. So that was the trick right there. It's called a GWK. I'll explain more about that in a bit, actually. Let's first explain this course. So with doing it without a blooper, I have to hit certain checkpoints. Or when you get to the end, it doesn't consider it complete. So you'll see me running over to certain objectives, basically. So I have to take a certain route to hit checkpoints in order for it to consider it completed when I hit the last checkpoint. And it's a little bit faster than riding the bloopers. If you do it poorly, it's actually slower than riding the bloopers. But, you know, that's the kind of risks you take in speedrunning sometimes. Yeah, that's blooperless though. But yeah, the GWKs, you might have saw I basically hit the wall and like I was instantly able to hover. Let's see. Okay, so GWK is glitchy wall kick. Basically, if you hit wall kick and camera, like at a similar time, you'll wall kick in the opposite direction. And I was able to immediately hover out of that. And here's another tech for you to explain right away. This is actually brand new. This is called a spin slide. And you spin and then you slide. Believe it or not. So you might have noticed I got a disgusting amount of momentum with that spin. The angle actually wasn't very good, but I got a disgusting amount of momentum. So you do a spin on the ground, essentially, and then you slide down a slope. And if you jump out of that slope, you get a gross amount of momentum. And yeah, also, that's not how you're supposed to get that shine. Just remembered it. Forgot to mention that, yeah. That shine, you're supposed to go up across a whole bunch of scaffolding and stuff and go way up and drop down in. But I guess the developers overlooked the fact that you can simply hover underneath it. So, another quick shine. But yeah, that new spin slide tech is only useful in a couple areas, and that's one of them. That's the only one I'm using currently. It's definitely the most useful area for it. Okay, this secret's a little jank right now. Because I messed up my dive timings a little bit. Hit a button at the wrong time. You hit a button at the wrong time, you get punished. So this game works. But I am still on track for where I need to be. Still set for the cycle I want. That was a little sketchy with that peg. But yeah, we're all good. A little slow, but no problem. Just had to be careful. And you can catch a cycle faster. When I say cycle, I mean essentially the pegs are turning, right? So is like a certain, what we call it, based on the color of the pegs. So one I just did is yellow cycle. You can do one faster than that, but I don't do that one currently, because for me yellow cycle is very easy, so I just like the consistency of it. So yeah, even with those mistakes at the start, I'm still able to catch that yellow cycle, which definitely shows the consistency of it. Alright, so Blooper's back also. Cooper Blooper is rearing his ugly head again. Here he scoundrel's back. So I do a little maneuver there to get up on this scaffolding. That's all the stuff I was talking about. You're supposed to go on to get that other shine. And that thing there, for some reason, is a bounce pad. So we can very handily use that to get ourselves over here quickly. And essentially the first is the same Blooper fight, just that this time you have to pull a period of time, because that's supposed to make it harder or something. Alright, so we didn't ride the Blooper in Rico episode 2, but now we'll get to ride a Blooper. Do a little Blooper ride in action now. Got a red coin shine here, where the red coins are actually on water, and you have to ride the Blooper to collect them. There's not too much to it, however, you do have to be careful on this episode, because if you crash the Blooper into something, you will die. Just die. Like Mario, he's dead. That's it. They killed him. And then you have to exit the world and come back in. So it's a devastating mistake if you crash into something. Loses an obscene amount of time on a level that's actually very easy. So it definitely happens on occasion. But there is not much to it. You really just need to know where the coins are at, and pretty simple. And just don't miss any coins. That's the other thing. If you miss a coin, that can lose quite a bit of time as well, having to go back for it, because you don't have tremendously great turning these bloopers. So usually you have to do a maneuver to get back around. This shine is actually, anyone who's played this game casually knows, this shine is actually kind of infuriating casually, because you have to grab that shine on the blooper too, and if you can crash at that point, and just like, oh cool, now I have to do the whole thing again. And just one more shine. Take care of Shadow Mario. This is one of the easiest, probably the easiest Shadow Mario in the game. However, it's also one of the most punishing if you make a mistake. I just set myself up to where when he starts moving, I've got the right spray distance and he goes down real quick. But if he gets away, it's a huge pain. That's actually not true, Fino. It's a really common misconception. I definitely thought the same thing before I started running the game, but actually all of them are the same speed. Funny enough. They all have the same exact speed, and they just have different handling. So green is just strictly the best in all senses, because the speeds are the same, but green has the best handling. So, kind of funny. I don't really know why they did it that way. But, okay, so we're back to Bianco now. Wrap up the last two shines here. And then, yeah, you guys might have been seeing the cutscene of Shadow Mario holding Yoshi out there. Once I get out of finishing Bianco, he's right next to me, so I'm going to take care of him and unlock Yoshi after that. And I need Yoshi to get into the next world, so the route works out very well in that respect. Yeah, for Bianco 6, I've got another secret here. Some pretty slick movement going up to that, except I'm a dumb idiot. I didn't do that move. I was supposed to roll out there. I just like hit A late. So I gotta kind of maneuver my way back. Oh, I'm getting destroyed. Yeah, this water's dirty also. So that kind of bops you. Yeah, let's do said slick movement. Roll out there. And then hover your way down, hover slide your way down here. I don't know why I didn't hit A. Like I did, but I hit it late. I don't know. Just something, there was a miscalculation there. Somewhere. Okay, so this is a really cool momentum spin jump strat coming up here. So you'd have to wait on this cube normally, but... Oh, actually I gotta do a backup strat. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, with that camera turn I was able to save that, but the angle of that spin jump I just got was not gonna work. But yeah, fortunately by reacting to that quick enough with the camera turn, I was able to get the wall kick off of that and still make it across. Otherwise I would not have made it across. The platforms up here are gonna maybe be a little jank now. I have to be careful. I think no, I got too close to the edge and dove right off. That's unfortunate. I was trying to do a spin jump dive there. But because I was so close to the edge, as soon as I went to do that input, it just booted me off the edge. Which definitely happens. You have to be careful about not getting too close to the edge. Well, now we get to see this again. And that's how it's supposed to go. Oof. They slaughtered you, boy. Bianco 6 got me. This is definitely, the shine is definitely a run goer. Usually not in that way, though. Usually it's from messing up that momentum spin jump. But this one's nice and clean. I can do it my normal way. And yeah, if you get all of that done correctly, the timing works out pretty nice for getting across those platforms. In fact, you actually have to wait a little bit. Oof, yeah, I took a big hit on that one. Bianco 6 is brutal. There's a lot of time for dying in that secret. The nice thing though is you get 2 lives in there. So it's a nice refresh point as far as that, especially if you've had a few deaths in the run already. It's very nice. Okay, I'm gonna try to do an instant kill on this Shadow Mario. I don't think I'm gonna be I'm not gonna be able to. My water slide at the start of the level there was very bad. So I didn't have enough speed. But you can water slide up to him and basically do a spam spray as you roll out in front of him. And if you hit it just right, that actually instantly drops him with one spam spray. Pretty tricky to do though. In that case, I didn't even get to attempt it, unfortunately. The nice thing is, if you do it, and even if you fail it, chances are you got a nice bit of damage on him for doing it. But yeah, now we're done with Bianco. And back-to-back Shadow Mario encounters. Got rid of that one very quickly. And he's got this Yoshi, and conveniently that Yoshi wants a banana, which is available right there in that tree. Very conveniently. So yeah, we grab Yoshi, and we need Yoshi to enter Serena Beach, because that pineapple's in the way, but Yoshi eats it. And I also got in there very slickly. It's kind of hard to drop right into that pipe with Yoshi. You have to get a really good jump height for that. So, that was good. But yeah, now we got Serena Beach, the second to last world in this speedrun. And we have to deal with some shenanigans in this world. I really like some of the shines in this world, but there are 2 shines in particular in this world that no one likes. Speedrunner or not. This shine is infamous. This is the Manta fight. And he is a pain, casually. He's a pain in speedrunning too, because he is pretty random. You can break him apart very handily with the spam sprays. First we manipulate him by getting on this hut to get him to the spot we want. Break down his first form, and then from here, get him to a certain point, and then we can just start spam spraying. And he'll break down to smaller chunks. But unfortunately, the path of movement that all of these mantas start to take is random. So you kind of have to react, and I'm getting bopped by them. They can definitely hit you quite a bit just with their random movements. You have to play very reactionary. Still got a huge one over here. And yeah, once you break down enough of them, you enter phase 2 of the fight, where Flood's like, oh, watch out. And they all turn pink, and that's essentially when there's nothing but the smallest size left. And then they all start coming after you in a somewhat erratic fashion. and basically I just take, at that point, I take a certain route, just spam spraying them, taking them out, and making sure I have enough water to do so. Oh, the Zappy. The introduction of the Zappy goop as well. That was about average, honestly. Maybe a little below average. That shine's rough, for sure. You definitely need very good awareness to figure out what they're doing and try to intercept them and not get hit by them at the same time. There's a lot of stuff you have to micromanage. That shine's definitely a pain. And it's funny too, like if you start speedrunning this game, it's actually like to practice that shine is really rough because you're just doing so many spam sprays, mashing RNA so much, and it actually like wears on your forearm when you're practicing it. Yeah, it is very nice visually. It's actually it was always my favorite world when I was little, personally. Just really like the whole hotel concept. In hindsight, it feels very out of place for the game, but I still really like it. This is a cool shine, though. I'm gonna have to go up. Normally, you're supposed to go up a bunch of levels with these boos to get up into a secret, but I can spin jump off of that totem pole and wall kick off of the multiple floors of the hotel to enter the secret very quickly. Kind of a weird looking secret, and actually one of the harder ones, I would say. Interestingly, by doing spins there, I can continue to wall kick those, whereas if I didn't spin, I would fall back down before I can wall kick. I'm going to be going for another momentum spin jump here. Once this gear reaches a certain rotation, I can get a momentum dive off of it to reach these sandblocks early. Okay, no. Okay, I could have saved that. But I kind of panicked a little. Because I knew what happened, but I was also like, oh. I actually messed up my positioning a bit. That's what happened. I didn't land on the correct sandblock. And I still could have saved it, even though I landed on the wrong sandblock, but I just didn't react soon enough. What I bonked into there, I could have got a wall kick off of if I had reacted sooner. But I had too much momentum, so you bonk into it when you have too much momentum. If I got the wall kick, I would have been fine. Yeah, unfortunate. It's a really cool momentum spin, though. Definitely a tricky one. Yeah, that is how it is meant to go. Just had a little bit too... I was pointed too far right. You can see what I'm saying, though. What I was saying earlier about this game being super punishing. It's just like a little thing like that, man. Like, oof, 30 seconds, man. A brutal game. Alright, so another somewhat of a skip here. For this shine, you are supposed to get Yoshi, and to get Yoshi, you need to get him a pineapple. And to get him a pineapple, you have to do a whole bunch of shenanigans inside the hotel, and then bring Yoshi up into the ducts, and ground pound into the area where the shine is. However, with the magic power of bananas, we can bypass all of that. With the magic of bananas and backflips. And simply clip into the area where the shine is. Essentially, I backflip with that banana in it toward the wall, and then I throw the banana at the peak of the backflip, and it just clips you right over that wall. So, it's another little quick shine that I really like. I really like those quick little intense shines. And once again, also using the advantage of the totem pole to get up there very quickly. And then we actually have another secret. Interesting thing with Serena Beach. They give you two secrets almost back to back. And there's actually another major skip in this level called the casino skip. So we're going to enter the casino, which is where this entry to the secret is. And normally you're supposed to do a bunch of shenanigans to be able to unveil the pipe that enters the secret. However, you can actually ledge grab this invisible ledge with enough height and dive right into the area where the pipe is. And that bypasses a lot of shenanigans. It bypasses major RNG, and it bypasses a puzzle that is just absolute nonsense. And I knew I was going to die there, actually. I got kind of stuck on this block at the start. You have to navigate to the left of this block very quickly to be able to spin onto this. Otherwise, you have to wait an extra cycle. Yeah, fortunately, not a huge death, because it's right at the start. And then I'm going to do another momentum spin here, because we love momentum spins. And that one saves not too much, but it's nice. Saves you waiting, though, for a few more rotations on that cube. Ah, yes, the greatest boss ever made. For the next shrine. So yeah, I mentioned there were 2 shrines that are absolutely awful. Serena. So the Manto was the first one. Now we have King Boo, which is the greatest boss ever made. And let me show you why. So, you might know that in video games, there's this thing called a random number generator, and it causes different results to happen randomly. That's what it does. And in King Boo, there is a random number generator active. And it's real good. We go down here, we re-enter the casino. We go down into the basement, and in the basement we find King Boo. Now what King Boo does, right? He does 2 things. He gives you fruit, or he doesn't give you fruit, and he gives you enemies instead of fruit. Now, we can cancel the enemy cycles, but it's still wasting our time. So, right away, he's giving me an extra cycle. So here's how the fight works, essentially. We need him to give us fruit, because we need fruit to fight him. Dude, he's showing. It's actually very rare that he doesn't give you fruit on the first one, so that's 2 extra cycles off the bat. So yeah, basically, once you get fruit, you need to throw a pepper at him and then a different fruit. You gotta do that 3 times. Now, in between each fruit, it is guaranteed that he gives you a not fruit cycle, which, as I said, you can cancel just by walking under him, as I have been, so you don't have to fight the enemies. This is a normal one. In between fruit cycles, he's always going to give you one of those. But after that, it's a 60% chance he gives you fruit, and a 40% chance he doesn't, and that 40% is called an extra cycle. Oh, dude, I'm a dumb idiot. Okay, I just canceled the fruit cycle, because I was talking too much. What a dummy. And now he gives me not fruit. Okay. Let's just wait on that one then. Now hopefully he gives us fruit. I've definitely done that one before. He's just giving me so much. He's just giving me so many extras that I was instinctively wanting to cancel it. Okay. Fruit again, please? Okay. Alright, so I've wasted a bunch of time on him already because of that, but yeah. I was really just trying too hard to explain it and not focusing on what I was doing. Oh no, I missed the durian. But yeah, I did essentially explain it at this point. Pretty much just on the off fruit cycle, or when he can give you a fruit, it's like 60-40 chance. So it's most likely he gives you the fruit, but still pretty solid chance that he doesn't. I'm really goofing. Okay, this is the last fruit though. Okay. So most of that was my fault, in fact. But he also did demonstrate as extra cycles. And the thing is, right, he can essentially give you an infinite amount of those extra cycles, theoretically. It's like 40% chance, okay, it's not as likely, but he can just keep giving it to you. So, it's not unheard of to get like 3 or 4 extra cycles, and every extra cycle loses maybe 7-8 seconds. So it's pretty brutal. I mean, for really high level runners of this game that are trying to get, you know, world-class times, it's brutal. Like, you can just get a great run, and then King Boo would just be like, oh, here's 3 extra cycles, by the way. Runs over. You're like, I like it. Okay, so, Goop's back. For some reason. All you gotta do in this shine, queen a lot of Goop. So when I was doing early Yoshi Go Round, I mentioned a difference between the version I'm playing and the Japanese version. This is another level where there's a difference. On the Japanese version, you have to queen more goop, basically. There is a stricter requirement for how much goop you have to queen. I think it's like 99% of the goop you have to queen. Whereas in this, I don't know how much it is, but it's way less strict. So you can move a little faster and not really be too picky about leaving behind little bits of goop. Yeah, in spite of that difference and the other difference I mentioned earlier, Japanese is still faster because of the text box speeds. But those are 2 disadvantages of the Japanese version. Yeah, that shine's definitely rough on JP. You have to be really strict about how much goop you queen. And then you've got a thing called invisible goop, where there's amounts of goop that are so small that they are in fact still there, but they're so small you can't see them. So that's cool. But yeah, Shadow Mario now. There's I actually made it into a Glad Jonas video recently on this very shine. So I discovered that there is a downwarp glitch that can happen here. It's very rare, but apparently if you talk to Shadow Mario from the opposite side there, on occasion you will just downwarp and die. And that happened to me in a run. And I was very confused, because I have never heard of such a thing. So, that's neat. But yeah, now we're in Noki Bay, which we actually unlocked quite a while ago, but we do make our way around to it as the last world that we enter. Very chill world, very good music, very not chill shines. So I gotta do those wall kicks there, up that little whatever it is. Oh no, okay. That goop almost destroyed me. Yeah, can make our way up to this. Just barely missing that cycle. There are definitely cycles too when you can throw these bombs. Just barely missed that one. Kind of a slow start, so that's why. Although I did get the wall kicks on the thing pretty well. That can be tricky. The walls on those, you'll slide right off them if you hit them in the wrong spot. Yeah, that was not bad. Yeah, unlike the mole earlier in Pinna Park, that is a mole we actually fight, because he gives us the shine. So essentially the lore behind Noki Bay, right? As you get here, the water's polluted. And the guy is a guy that's just like, oh man, you help guys with stuff, right? Help us out. We're trying to figure out how to get rid of the pollution. And he just keeps pitching ideas at you as to why there's pollution, and you keep going and solving the things that you think it is, and he's like, that wasn't it, let's try this. And you just keep doing that for a couple episodes. So in this episode, you are supposed to fight another one of the bloopers that we fought 2 of in Rico Harbor, because I guess 2 wasn't enough for the development team. But it's enough. It's enough for the speedrun team because we skipped this one. This wall's not cooperating now. There we go. I think I was just hitting A little late. Okay, so how we skip this is we make our way up here, and we get this spring pad. And when you put this spring pad down, it gets big. And when you do that in this spot, you clip through a wall and you dive. And you dive. And you land in an area where the shine is. And it's pretty good. So you don't even have to get close to where that blooper is showing. But yeah, you're supposed to defeat that blooper and then ground pound down into that area it was just in. But that's a nice little skip. It's scary though, like, I mean, it's not super hard, but it can be dangerous if you're not careful. Because if you dive incorrectly, you will actually not land in that room, and then you will go way out of bounds, and you will have to exit the area. So you gotta be careful of that. So yeah, now he's got another idea, right? He's like, oh shoot, there's a big eel at the bottom of the lake. You need to go underwater. We're gonna put a fishbowl on your head. It's gonna work. Trust me. But before you go fight the eel, let's practice. So they put you in a bottle. Yeah, they put a fishbowl on his head, and then they put him in a bottle, because that's how Mario works. And then you get some red coins. Oh no, or you don't get some red coins in this case. Fortunately, missed it. And the underwater physics are pretty jank. They're hard to get used to. Definitely hard to get used to. Once you got a hand on them, not too bad. But I remember, at least for me, when I was learning to speedrun this game, I had a really hard time getting a handle on them. And the shine we're going to do now, which is said eel fight, is like, I actually hated learning this eel fight. It's pretty jank to get a handle on. It's like, I don't know, just the underwater controls are, they're just very they're very unlike anything else you do in the game. So, it can be tricky to get a hand on. Nice. Got the good entry there. The triple jump into the water slide. And now we gotta just like float down for a while until we reach the seal. So I'm gonna set myself up to get an air bubble, which will replenish my underwater life. And basically, I'm gonna set up to where he's gonna open his mouth. I'm gonna clean 5 teeth, well, at least 4, but hopefully 5. Usually I get 5. In the amount of time before he closes his mouth. And then at that point, you have to do 1 by 1, getting him to close his mouth each time. There's a lot of particulars to this fight to understand. If you don't do things in a certain way, he'll go like underground and you have to wait forever for him to come back up. Yeah, unfortunately not getting the 5 teeth there. Just barely. Because my position was bad. So I'm going to have to get him to close his mouth again. To clean that tooth. Yeah, the hitboxes on the teeth are kind of weird, so that's why I didn't get the 5th tooth. I was not spraying in the correct location. Now also, there's a cutscene when you defeat the eel. I'm going to take damage by running into this last tooth, and that's going to allow me to actually skip that cutscene. I don't think I'm going to get it, though, actually. Yeah, I didn't get it, because my position was bad. I wasn't really in a good position to propel myself into the tooth as I was cleaning it. But this is the cutscene that you would skip right here. And it's actually pretty major. I think you lose 15 seconds or so from not getting that. It's pretty neat, though. You just get damaged by the tooth right as you are cleaning it off. And basically, reason it saves time is, right now I have to float down to this shine. Whereas if I had skipped the cutscene, I would be able to float down for the duration of time that the cutscene is quote-unquote playing. So I would literally be sitting where that shine is, waiting for it to spawn. So it's pretty significant, actually. Okay, and I don't know if you guys remember our boy Pantissimo, but he's back. He wants a rematch. He's like, alright, homie, you destroyed me on the land, but I got you on the sea. He thinks he can outswim us, and we're just gonna expose him again. He's a fraud, dude. Thinks he can go fast. Can't go fast. Nah. He doesn't know the strats. Just doesn't know. Man needs to study. So we can use this interesting boxing glove trap that's there. We just kind of power ourselves over here. Even without that, this race would be very simple to complete. I have to wait on him for quite a while. And I'm gonna look in this direction because I'm in a spot where he will talk to me when he gets here. But I'm still going to be facing this direction after the shine spawns, and because I'm in this position, I can jump dive directly into the shine. It'll be in front of me. Also, interesting fact, if you go back into these episodes where you race Pantissimo, he does actually go quicker the next time. So he does do his research, dude. He does do his research. It's pretty interesting thing that they added. Okay, so now we've got the infamous Noki 6. The Choki 6, actually, is its scientific name. So it's gonna be hard to explain this shine. I am about to do some big shenanigans with ropes. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain it, but you'll see. A little slow on the grab on that one. So yeah, by doing that I can get right up to the entrance to the secret, bypassing a lot of the stuff that they presumably want you to do instead. And then this is definitely, I would say, the hardest secret in the game. Regardless if you're speedrunning or playing casually, especially if you're playing casually, this secret is very difficult the first time. And I'm doing a good job of it this time. Caught that cycle very nicely. However, not going to be able to do quite what I want. Instead, I'm going to get a wall kick off that. If I was a little faster, I caught the cycle, but not quite fast enough to... Hold on. Okay, we're not dead. Gotta watch for that pig. Definitely gotta be careful of that pig. But we're good. Yeah, if I had got there a little quicker, I would be able to do similar to what I did, where I wall kicked and ground pounded, but I would be able to do it on a different part of that tower and get to the top almost immediately. You have to be pretty quick for that. Alright, nice. Thanks, Fina. Yeah, and we're just about done. Just got the last Shadow Mario fight, and then that, you know, once you've beaten every Shadow Mario, Corona Mountain is unlocked, and you can go fight Bowser. And this Shadow Mario, you don't want to mess up with this Shadow Mario. If he gets away from you, it's a big problem. Big problem. It's sketchy. Yeah, that leaves one more Shine Sprite. 44 Shine Sprites for any percent. Just gotta beat Bowser. This is what's triggered once you beat Shadow Mario everywhere. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. With Noki 6, there's actually, just like with a lot of the other secrets, there is one faster cycle you can do, even aside from what I did, but that one's like, whew, you gotta eat your Wheaties for that one. That's above my pay grade. But really good runners do it. Same goes for this, actually. There is a very crazy strat for Corona that there's barely enough time to do without getting stabbed by spikes. What I'm doing here is pretty much the standard one. You just have to keep ensuring that these fires go out. And then, you know, if you're moving at the correct speed, spikes are not going to be an issue. The cycles work out very nicely. And then we have the infamous boat. I'm going to do speedboat, where you essentially just go for it. And really all there is to this is you just have to know... I messed it up. I definitely messed it up. But I can back that up. But yeah, you just have to know how long to hold directions for speedboat. But the backup, I can dive off of these pillars like so if you crash the boat. Which is actually easier than it looks. But yeah, fortunately you're not just boned if you crash the boat. Oh, and now I'm going to do... It's a lot of shenanigans here. This is rocket storage. Where hard to explain, but I basically canceled the boost from the rocket before it happened. So I actually stacked 2 rocket boosts. And it's really interesting. You can do it infinite times and just get a dumb amount of height. But it actually, it's not just the height of 2 rockets. It actually stacks. It's like, every time you do it, it like goes even higher, like more than it should. So very useful there. You don't have to deal with going up the clouds. Saves quite a lot of time. And then yeah, all that's left is to fight Bowser. We keep that same rocket nozzle, and we just have to ground pound 5 of these platforms in the correct spot, and hope that we don't get gooped by this green goop. Because he can goop you, and it's not good. If you are very unlucky, you can get killed because of getting gooped. But it's actually pretty rare to get gooped in general. Looks like we are goop free. Oh, nope. Shouldn't have said nothing, yeah. There's the goop. Alright. And time, by the way, I forgot to mention. Yeah, really forgot to mention. But I assume most people know this run, so hopefully... I actually have my timer up as well, so... the time I got was 1:26:06. Yeah, totally forgot to mention time was coming, but then again, it's, you know, it's Bowser, so I guess it was kind of obvious. But I definitely should have mentioned sooner, at least. I should have said when I ground pound the last thing, but forgot to mention. But yeah, 1:26:06. My timer, which is, you know, it's a marathon run. I definitely, like, average for me is probably 1:24, but like I said, this game is brutal. You lose a lot of time for a lot of things. And, you know, overall, fairly solid play in this run, but just a couple, you know, things here and there that was like, oh, I did that, I'm gonna get destroyed. That's definitely how this run is, but it's what I like about it. It's definitely what I like about this game. It keeps you accountable. You definitely have to be careful. So, small mistakes can lose a lot of time. But yeah, it's a great game. Definitely, I've been loving it for the time I've been running it. Definitely not going to stop running it. If you've never seen this run before, there's a lot of people streaming this game. You can definitely watch speedruns of this game any day of the week if you go in the Sunshine directory. And there's a lot of people streaming this game that are very good at it. Very, very good. So, get in on that if you want. Also, Peaches and his mama. Who would have guessed? That's the plot we missed in the Pinna cutscenes. But yeah, fortunately, still finishing my underestimate. Figured I'd just go super safe. It's always better to be safe on your estimate and go under. Mario lore.